Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Here is your fun fact of the day. If you want somebody who was a legitimate doer, somebody who's a go-getter, examine the book of Nehemiah, a contemporary of Ezra, whom we discussed last week, who was instrumental in helping to get Jerusalem and all of Judah back on its feet after they returned from being exiled. Nehemiah was somebody who was also there and was literally boots on the ground during this whole construction and rebuilding process. Nehemiah was actually the cupbearer for the Persian king. When the king said he was thirsty, Nehemiah was the one who was there to quench it. Now, when Nehemiah hears that his people, he is a Jew after all, have been returned to Jerusalem, but that the walls were broken down, the gates were burned, and that things were generally in disarray, he was greatly sad. He was extremely disheartened by this. So much so that even in his duties, the king noticed, "Nehemiah, you're pretty long of face. What troubles you?" So he tells the king, the Persian king, who is not fully clear at this time as far as exactly which one in history we're looking at, but Nehemiah simply tells him flat out, "I've heard the state that my people currently reside in, and I don't like it. It makes me sad to hear that my people live in such disarray, especially while I'm here living in your palace." The king has pity on Nehemiah and says, "All right, away you go. Back to your people, go help them as best you can." Nehemiah arrives on the scene, and here's what he finds. The walls have a lot of holes in them. There's large sections missing, flat out broken. There are no real gates because they have actually been burned. The people are basically milling about. Disarray. No real organization is happening here. There's no unions. There's no organized labor force. There is no structure to this society that's just returned to its original settlement. So despite opposition, he gathers some workers. He appoints some laborers, he appoints some leaders, and he gets things rolling. Eventually he rebuilds, helps, and oversees the rebuilding of the entire wall of the city of Jerusalem and its gates. And not only that, during that time, Nehemiah also helped oversee economic and political troubles as well. Additionally, he was also part of the reinstituting of the law that Ezra helped put back into place that the Israelites would then continue to follow from that day forward. Nehemiah was a busy man. He was a man who heard about a problem, and though he was saddened by it, he didn't just stop at being sad, sending thoughts, sending prayers, and just leaving it in somebody else's hands. He was a man who was told to go by the man he served, by the king, no less. And he went, and didn't just get there and flounder about, "Woe is me, there's too great of a problem, there's too much to do." He got it done. It took years. It took about 20 or so years after he got there, but he got it done. He was busy. He did it. He was a blessed man. And many people were blessed by his efforts. Thank you for joining me for this fun fact of the day. See you again soon.